We've got some more commercial rap, but I did this simply because I'm realizing that doing some of this is actually quite fun. So, 50 Cent had a crew called G Unit, and this is one of the more kind of pedestrian. Well, he's not a weak member, but he has a more ground level feel, and that's Tony Yayo. So he dropped an album about 10 years ago, and with what 50 Cent had going on, this was a pretty exciting moment. I'm actually aware of, from a standpoint as far as how much people are listening to it. I understand that most people really only care about like one or two songs, and that would be So Seductive and Drama Setter. Now, beyond that, this album is actually a bit better than fair, and I wanted to assess that because, it's a good look, and if you just can't get enough Eminem, and in some cases 50 Cent, this is a good one. I have really been on the hunt for like classic CDs that you can actually, play in the car and like more than 6 or 7 songs, and people will actually, fuck with them with you depending upon what you're doing. Just those type of moments, and I think that while, this feels more like a playlist album, I do want to prove that there's more than just the So Seductive song that's worthwhile. So the answer as to whether or not you can smoke to this, I think you pretty much can. There are 16 songs on here, so it's pretty good size, I think. So Seductive is one. It Is What It Is a great one. I'm So High is an okay one. I Know You Don't Love Me, and possibly Curious too. So the production, I liked it on this. There were a couple. The problem with Yayo is just that, the attention's going to be on more of his features more than actually him. And anytime this happens, it makes a person look like they are not marketable, whereas they have to create fields for themselves. And so, you'd think Tony Yayo, he'd have the street cuts down, but to me, the production just didn't stand out enough to actually say, it's just like Tupac is known for his cruising records and his summertime stuff. I think that, Yayo could have had some of these areas which would have been a lot better. So, G Shit and East Side, West Side, and Homicide, some of these don't really hit the mark, but I do think G Shit was pretty close. That was almost an almost song. And, he tries sampling a Britney Spears song, and East Side, West Side, I don't really remember, but these are just a few of them. I feel like Drama Setter really hit it on the head. That one's a great song. Curious has a great beat. That's just a real mellow middle of August song to listen to. It Is What It Is really great too. So those are just a few. But the unheard songs, this is where we get into the meat of this record. And out of 16 songs, I like 6 of them, and then one almost song. So these songs are It Is What It Is, So Seductive, Drama Setter, Pimpin', Curious, and I Know You Don't Love Me. So I think the one that a lot of people have heard is probably So Seductive. Has 50 Cent on there. It's a go-to one. Second most popular is probably Drama Setter, and this was produced by Eminem, has him on the hook, and has Obi Trice on there. So this is pretty much an Eminem affiliated song, and if you just want more of Slim Shady on there, there is at least one more song, and he helped produce the song It Is What It Is, which is actually a really smooth beat. So that's another one. I like that one. I think you'll like it too. Pimpin' and Curious prove that Yayo has he's got some pretty smooth, more female-oriented songs. But Project Princess does not do it. I mean, this one, you think that one didn't quite hit the nail on the head. I Know You Don't Love Me has G Unit on there. That one is just real kind of, I can't even think of the word for it. It's just real flashy. I like it. It sounds great. And then the almost song is I'm So High. So, I mean, that one it's gonna take a few listens, but it's not the best smoking song in the world, but it's also better than most of the songs that are on here. So, obviously there's songs like Live by the Gun that has a great beat. Dear Susie, which, I mean, this is about a song about him being in prison and getting letters from women. It's not that it's a bad idea, but, I mean, you gotta think if you really want to relate to that. Some of these other ones, like I said, they just don't hit the nail on the head. Probably could have simply used more, just better production in order to do it. That's about enough to sum those up. I think as far as the lyrics are concerned, I mean, he feels closer to someone who is not rich more so than 50 Cent does. And this is just something to pay attention to, because if you're just kind of looking for like that hole in the wall, those type things, this is glossy enough that he still fucks with some big names, but also more pedestrian feel, and more so than the Young Buck CD I reviewed, so just keep that in mind. It doesn't have the southern style, but it still sounds like rap that you want to hear. So the score, because I like 7 out of 16, I'm going to give this album a 4 out of 10. So that's, not bad. I guess I could give it a 4.5. The future, I don't know if Yayo, it doesn't seem like he'll drop another album, but just mess with 50 Cent, you'll find some more stuff with him. Social score, I'm going to give it a 3 social, just because it's really difficult trying to find those songs. Try out a few of the ones I noticed. Eminem does have somewhat of help on here. 50 Cent and his crew are on here, and a lot of these, about half of the beats are pretty good. You might find a couple more songs besides the ones I've mentioned. But can it be top? Yes, it can. But this is still a pretty decent way to go down. So keep that in mind. I give this a 4.5 out of 10 and a 3 social.